This is 131.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at with your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody, on this delicious Thursday afternoon. I'll give you a moment all to choke back that gag reflex now as I called today delicious.
Delicious.
Is that the word you would have used?
Yeah.
Is there any words to you that make you cringe?
Cringe-worthy words.
Shane and Bryce here, by the way.
Hey, guys.
Good day. Cringe-worthy words. Are there words that people say that you're like, oh, don't say that. That's not necessary. Find a new word for that. Chestnut.
Chestnuts. That's one. I don't like chestnuts.
I don't know that I've really had chestnuts too often.
No?
This is coming up because today, inadvertently, I yelled the word chestnut.
It was yesterday. We've continued
Yesterday?
on to today.
Oh, it's a 2-day running
It's a
thing?
2-day running.
This is almost a trend. So I said chestnut in a way because I was talking about the color of the Q-Tech stain I was putting on an order.
Chestnut.
But the way I said it sounded like I was swearing at the screen. It was like, chestnut. Because I said that. That's what I said. It was like, chestnut. Mm-hmm. And it sounded like an F-bomb. And so we're like, oh, there's a good idea. From now on, the word we'll use around here instead of swearing at work, inappropriate, is chestnut.
Right.
It's innocent. So now that's a thing. But I'm just curious. I said, welcome to this delicious Thursday, and it made me gag a little bit. So I'm curious, are there words that you don't like people using to describe things?
Are there words that...
Come on, Bryce.
I don't...
Moist? Have you never thought about the word moist?
I like the word moist. It's a good word.
You liking the word grosses me out. Why do you like the word?
It's like kumquat.
Oh, my God.
Feels good coming out of my lips.
This is... do we have to rate this as explicit now?
Moist and kumquat.
Holy shit. Ugh, get that out of your system. Okay, so I don't even want to say.
Oh, thanks, TC Dex. He said, when is Wade coming back? Not that Bryce isn't cool, but Shane and Wade's bromance is legendary. Question mark.
So,
penis. That's what Ethan Texas Dex said.
Oh, he doesn't like the word penis. So I got a funny story about that then. If we're going to go down that rabbit hole.
You should at JC again.
I should send her a message.
Anyway.
So, oh boy, this is like one of those things where it comes up at the poor kid's wedding 18, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
It's like, my dad one time, my dad was a world famous podcaster.
World famous podcaster.
Oh, what was this podcast about? Is your dad Joe Rogan?
Your dad?
No,
it's Joe?
Shane from the Ultimate Deck Podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
That's number 2.
Here's another thing, by the way. This is strange. So Google's pretty good at knowing our podcast.
Yep.
When you're talking to Google Home. And I often, because I like listening to ourselves, I'll sometimes tell, like, hey, Google, it's going to happen if I say it right now. Hey, Google, play the Ultimate Deck Podcast. And usually no problem. It'll up and play it.
Right.
Well, geez, man. I was doing the dishes last night. So there I was. Doing the dishes last night.
Sure you were.
And I was like, I wanted to pick up where we left off last week.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Google, play the Ultimate Deck Podcast.
And?
Out comes a podcast called The Dick Podcast. And the title of that episode was The Jerk Off something or other. And it was completely inappropriate. And I was like, what? And intrigued. And I was intrigued.
Amazing.
I was like, what is this podcast? And I could not get Google to play it yesterday. I kept saying, no, the Ultimate Deck Podcast.
No.
They're like, oh, okay, the Dick Podcast. No, not the Dick Podcast.
No, the Deck Podcast.
Ultimate Deck Podcast.
It's a really big deck.
And I started playing something else that wasn't related to it. And I was like, what is happening right now? God, it really tore me up.
You did it? Were you in front of your kids?
No, this was post kids. They were in bed. So it was just me and my wife enjoying the Dick Podcast. She wasn't paying attention.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's that. The story. So
yeah, let's get to your
my wife.
Naughty word story.
Yeah. My wife, super cool chick. That's why I married her. So she's, yesterday we have a specialist appointment for our 2-year-old because he's had some, like, he's a little cranky with his groin area. Like when he changed diaper, he's like, Dad, don't don't touch me there when you're trying to clean up around his stuff. We're like, well, he seems to be like overly sensitive there, or maybe he's sore. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we took him to the doctor about that and something else. Can't remember what the other thing was. And so that's all good and fine. The first doctor we took him to is like, oh, there might be something here. I'm not going to get into details, but she's like, this is a little bit strange. And so I'm going to book you for a specialist to go through this. Specialist was yesterday. Wife calls me after to tell me how it went. I got on speakerphone. You're 30 feet away. Your desk is 30 feet away from mine. Juanita's is about 20 feet away from mine. And my wife didn't know she was on speakerphone. I'm like, whoop, speakerphone. She's like, hey, so anyway, Casey's penis and balls are like going on and on about penis and balls a bunch. And I was like, holy, this is the best conversation ever to have on speakerphone. And she's like, well, I didn't know that I was on speakerphone. I was like, yeah, well, heads up, you are.
Heads up, you are.
We finished the conversation, and as we're saying bye, I was like, okay, well, I'll see you after work. Love you, bye. And she's like, bye. And then before she hangs up, penis and balls.
She screamed it.
Screams penis and balls so that you guys could hear it. And I don't know if you did or not, but that was her intent.
I sure did.
And I started laughing because that was pretty funny of her, speaking of words that are cringeworthy.
What about the word mucus?
I'm okay with that one.
Okay.
Like it's kind of a gross word.
Okay, fine. Clogged.
With mucus.
Slacks.
Slacks?
Yeah.
What's the problem with slacks? I mean, that's a weird word, but it doesn't gross me out.
Panties.
There's certainly some that are hitting different here.
Dripping.
Oh boy.
Hubby and wifey.
Yeah,
I hate the word wifey.
Wait, and hubby. Yeah, those are both.
Hubby, I care less about.
Both kind of dumb.
Phlegm.
Rural. That was just tough to say, to enunciate properly. Rural.
Wellness.
No issue with that word.
Discharge.
Oh, that one's a little bit weird.
Impactful.
I'm okay with that one.
Prideful.
Sure.
Sputnum.
What is that? We define sputum as matter as saliva mixed with mucus or pus expectorated from the lungs and respiratory passages.
So if you got COVID, you'd probably have a lot of sputum.
Backed up with sputum today.
Goiter. These are ointment.
Ointment. That one is strange. Ointment.
Oh, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Gross word Thursday is over.
Gross word Thursday. Oh, Evan said, surströmming.
Oh God.
The stinky
fish.
Has
it arrived?
I don't think so.
So here's the thing. What was I going to do? I was going to get out of TikTok here and do something else. Now I don't remember. I know what I was going to do. Hold on here. Are we Bluetoothed in here?
It's possible.
I'm going to work away on this here. Surströmming. So that's also known as the Swedish fish, right? And I don't know if people out there have heard of this, but it's apparently the world's stinkiest food. And if you do some searching on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, you'll find lots of videos of people who have tried to eat this stuff. And what it is, I don't know, the description is what? It's fermented fish in a brine of some sort.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is.
And like even the description doesn't sound too shit hot. Like,
gotta get me some of that some strong, stinky fermented fish.
Not about to run down to the store and ask for it anytime soon. But anyways, the stuff I guess is god awful smelling to the point that when you open the can, it punches you in the sinuses with sputum.
And it really hits you in the face with that sputum.
Gets you in the sputum. And people gag almost instantly. And then they try to eat it and they can't. They can't bring themselves to get it in their mouth because the closer it gets to their nose, they just gag. And so it's awful, awful stuff. And well, one of our contractors, he's into awful things. Typically spicy, like super over the top spicy things. But him and I were talking, I don't know why we were talking about this, but the Swedish fish came up the other day and he's like, I'm ordering a can.
What's really bad is that it's Swedish fish.
Which has to me, that means something completely different.
If someone says, hey, you want some of this Swedish fish?
Shit, yeah.
You're going to say, yeah.
Swedish fish are amazing.
They are one of the best.
This might be the biggest joke on the planet here, calling those delicious little red gummies the same name as one of the most disgusting things on the planet.
Yep.
Because seriously, the Swedish fish that I know and love, that I like, are in my heart, are delicious.
I believe Swedish fish are vegan.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because they're
not.
They
they're
don't
made-
use gelatin.
They do use gelatin, but they use a specific type, and that's why they take
Not
that.
an animal fat based gelatin.
Yeah, and they have a good texture to them. They have the best texture out of almost every gummy,
They're a good texture. They are.
right?
They are. I'm
Kind of like weirdly dry on the outside.
yes, but not. Yes, Bryce, I know exactly what you mean by that.
Oh, I brought myself back from the flat earther conversation.
They're
of earlier.
amazing. They're so good. God,
They're great.
I'm glad I found somebody else that appreciates Swedish
love
fish
Swedish
as much
fish.
as I do. So now I'm worried that Evan's going to show up here
And
with
he's
this
just gonna
can of
open it.
surströmming Swedish fish and make us all try it. That's what I'm worried about. And I believe that it's a legitimate concern
It is a legitimate concern.
because that's what he does. He
long as
doesn't
it-
like to enjoy these things by himself.
as long as he doesn't show up here now.
Yeah, he likes to bring people down with him.
Who are you phoning?
I'm just trying something.
Who are you phoning?
This is a call-in show. Call 1-800
Welcome to Love Line.
Dick Podcast.
Welcome to Love Line.
Yeah,
This is Shane and Bryce.
we'll see who. It's a prank phone call.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm well. How are
it's
you?
Wade. Good. Well, we were recording the podcast, and somebody asked, "Where is Wade?"
Oh, is that the new segment? Where's Wade?
Where's Wade?
Where in the world is Wade?
Yeah.
I'm in Saskatoon right now in the store.
And so I thought, well, wait a second.
That's so boring.
We've paid for the technology to make this happen.
Yes.
So let's do
Yeah.
it. Wade,
Okay.
are there some words that you are turned off by? Some words that gross you out when people say them?
Yeah.
Like
Profit.
Like what? Profit?
Profit. Yeah. I hate making money.
Wow.
We just constantly burn money. And so I've decided I don't even like making it anymore.
Okay.
So-
Sounds like we called it a great time. Do you have any stories to share from today?
We oversold some 5-quarter brown pressure treated. A customer came to pick it up today. And in turn, we ended up sending them out the door with cedar because I gave them the option of cedar or 2x6 because that's what we had on the ground.
Gotcha.
And we sold the product in March and it's not here. So,
Great. Double sold it.
right?
Double
Sold it. That's
Yeah.
what happened. So,
Well, I hope he's happy.
he seemed happy. He got a free upgrade to cedar today. So,
Yeah. Bought it in
Um,
March when it was still cheap too. So
Yep,
walked away
exactly.
like, with product that's worth 4 times more than what he paid.
Right? He should just turn around and sell it.
Yeah.
that's what he said. He was like, if I have any extra, you'll be able to buy it back on Kijiji. So,
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, so profit. You don't like profit. How do you feel about the word moist?
yeah, I know. I was like, you guys you're baiting, you're fishing for those words. It actually doesn't bother me.
What about supper?
No, supper's fine.
What about Arby's? Oh yeah, that one makes me gag a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tequila. Tequila
Yeah.
makes me gag when I hear that word.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have any cringeworthy ones. Yeah.
Kumquat.
Nope.
No.
Makes me laugh. Like,
He likes that one.
yeah.
Well, goodbye
What
then.
are some of
Yeah.
yours? What did you guys have?
Now
What
we
are-
know
what
why
were yours?
Wade's not on the show anymore.
Well,
Yeah. What
Yeah.
what was yours?
can't get content out of this guy when you try. We're prying.
Sure.
So I opened up the segment by saying welcome to this delicious Thursday, which grossed myself out a little bit. That's
Yeah.
how we got down this rabbit hole in the first place. And I was like, I don't know why I called it delicious, but it was kind of gross the way I said that.
Yep.
And then we got into
Yep.
moist and
Moist.
kumquat and
Kumquat.
sputum,
Sputum.
which we learned what that word was today.
Yeah, that word doesn't
Okay.
Mucus.
turn me off until I learned the description.
Yeah, you see, the words that you looked up, though, they were not inherently bad, like gross sounding words. They were just
No.
the words for things that are gross.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like
moist.
like
is-
tuds.
Like
tuds. Yeah. Yeah, maybe
Only
tuds
sometimes.
is one, actually. Hey, have you seen any of our billboards up and around Saskatoon?
Yeah.
I have not, and I have definitely been looking.
Oh, sounds like we got the good spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Bryce alerted me to one today that we have at Victoria Avenue and Sask Drive in Regina. So I thought that was
Ooh, that would have been a good one. I would have seen that quite often.
a decent little spot. Yeah.
That's a great
So
one.
here's I took an extra long look at it today.
In the middle of an intersection.
So Bryce tells me that it's there. He tells me this yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I should drive by there on the way home from work. And I forgot yesterday. So on my way to work today, I decided I was going to drive down that intersection. And for those who aren't from here, that's a fairly major
busy
intersection in Regina. But it's not, it doesn't meet at a 90. It meets at a super like low angle. They come at like, it's a strange little intersection.
I think it's a 64 and a half.
64 and a half degree.
4 and a half degrees.
Yeah. Something like that. And so,
but it was in metric probably.
Yeah, that might have been where they went wrong with that. So I'm rolling up here and I'm looking around. I'm like, well, where is it? Which I don't know which direction which street it's actually facing and which direction it's facing. So I was kind of like spinning my head around trying to find it, and then all of a sudden I saw it. And I was on Victoria, and it's actually sitting on the Arcola side of things, and I saw it straight out to my left. And I slowed down at that intersection as if the light was red to look at our billboard, and the light was not red.
Right.
And I just didn't in my mind, the light was red. So I stopped to have a little gander at the billboard.
You didn't.
Yeah. And then I look over and realize that the traffic on the other side of the road was also sitting still. And then looked at my rear view and was like, oh, people behind me.
There were
Green
2 or
light.
3
Oh,
people.
get going. So yeah, there's this asshat stopped at the intersection staring at his own billboard.
You know what the
traffic.
funniest thing is that everybody would have known it was some guy from the Ultimate Deck Shop because he was decked out in his truck.
Yeah, you did.
100%. I didn't put that together, but you're right. The guy
You're driving a billboard. Stop looking at the billboard. Just, yeah, Mom, look, I'm so proud of me. I finally got a sign up.
Yeah.
Look, Mom.
Yeah. Guy behind me is like, I'd like to honk, but I feel this guy's too stupid to understand what that would mean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's how the day's gone. So we're just talking about gross words. We thought you might have some input to that. So, hey, did you end up ordering your pizza for the guys today?
I did order pizza.
Where did you order from?
Yeah, where'd you get it from?
We went with Wow Pizza.
Oh, wow. Right
Wow.
across from the University of Saskatchewan. College Drive.
It's
No idea. I have no idea where it was.
Shane and I have it all the time.
Been there before. They have the best garlic fries in the province.
Yep.
And maybe beyond that, I just haven't tested other waters to know for sure. So I don't want to make claims, but the fries are amazing.
They're great.
The pizza's
Yeah,
not bad. Yep.
I went on to Reddit and said best pizza in Saskatoon, and that one popped up. So
Yeah.
that's what we got. It was really good. Really, really good. Yep.
Good. And in Regina, we treated the team to Sparky's.
Sparky's.
Oh, the old Sparkle Dome.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yep, she was pretty good. Sparky's is funny, though, because they don't like to deliver to the whole city.
Which is so weird. It's,
Like,
it's like we don't live in LA.
I know. That's the thing. For those who don't live here, like Regina and Saskatoon are fairly small, small cities comparatively, right? Regina is about 230,000 people. Saskatoon is about 280. So smaller cities. Certainly cities that you can drive from one end to the other in about 20 minutes. Either way, right?
Correct.
And Sparky's, though, they're located in the south end of town, and they don't deliver north of Dewdney. Like north of the middle part of the city.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty crazy.
And I've ran into that before because like we've tried to order pizza at our old location was on Dewdney, on the south side of Dewdney.
That's the
So technically we were 30 feet to the right side of Sparky's delivery.
and they wouldn't do it.
And they did deliver
They
to us.
would, they
they
would
would.
deliver there, but that was a cutoff. But I know that I've phoned for here before and they wouldn't. And today I was like, oh, I'd like to order for delivery. They're like, okay, are you in the south end? And I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot about your no north of Dewdney rule, hey? And she's like, well, where are you? And I gave her my address. She spends like a solid 60 seconds Googling it or something. She's like, well, I guess we can. I guess we
can
can.
do it.
But the delivery fee will be $6. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Charge me 10. I don't care.
I was like,
Get it here.
you're a restaurant in a pandemic.
Yeah,
you're hurting. I'm trying to order $150 of the pizza.
You're like, no thanks.
And you're like, I'm sorry, but you're 4 blocks too far away. Mm-hmm. Come on, man.
What do they think's going to
I'm
happen?
gonna have
They're
to
just going
charge
to
you
disappear?
$6.
Yeah, charge me $20. I don't care. I don't want to come get it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
worth $6 for me to you drive it here.
Exactly.
For the love of God.
Uh,
Yeah. So anyways, we're going to get to our topic, so we'll let you go. But somebody mentioned your name, and we thought we should phone you in. So
you're just starting now?
yeah, well, we've wasted 20 minutes now,
20.
so this is what we do.
20
Oh, yeah.
minutes.
Now
Okay.
we're going to get on to the topic. So
What are you doing today? What are you talking about?
well, I was going to let you go before I got into that, but since you asked,
Glad you asked.
we've got a list of 7 times when it is the perfect time for a new deck, when you should look to be replacing your deck.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing anything,
Oh,
tune in.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I am doing things, so I might put it on in the background.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like it's white noise, Carly says. Helps
Yeah.
them get to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of your
day.
day. Take care.
You too.
So
Talk to you later.
long.
Bye.
Have a moist day. Okay. Well, there's Wade. Everybody's been wondering where he's been. So I don't know if maybe we haven't really explained this properly.
No.
Wade's been gone for, it's been you and I for the last 3 weeks, and
Yep.
it's been just me a week in there or something. I can't remember. And
You-
we went
you
up and
drove
did
up there and
yeah,
did
we did
too.
one from there. So Wade has moved to our other city, Saskatoon, and is running the store up there because we had a general manager who was running that store who had a last minute change of city.
Life.
Decided he was moving out of town with a new gal, going to move in with her outside of Saskatoon, and so was no longer going to be working in Saskatoon. So he's gone. And now Wade's there running the show until we find somebody to run the show.
Right.
But he's going to be there all year this year. So that's why he's not been on the podcast lately. Because logistically, it's just a little tougher.
And
I've brought the equipment up there. We'll do that. If I'm up there,
Yeah.
we'll take it. We'll go. Maybe we'll video him in sometimes. We'll do this, but
we should
you know
get
how
a
we plan.
hologram.
You know how we play. Oh.
Hologram Wade.
Oh.
Deep fake
Remember when you,
Wade.
yeah, deep fake. Remember when you had the burn on here? We could just put Wade in almost
I
every
could do
time.
that.
The burn.
The burn.
Anyway, today's topic, like we mentioned, okay, you're going to get some quotes. Nobody's going to touch my price.
Was that the one you meant?
Is I just hit a button. I couldn't remember what it was. I just said hit a button. When is it time for a new deck? And so I'm going to send a shout out to thank you to our friend Scott Kelly for the topic inspiration today.
Thanks, Scott.
It's maybe not exactly what he said, but it's a take or a twist on what he said. Oh, a twist.
What
Gross
what
word.
did he say?
I'm just kidding. No, he's
It's a moist.
He said
It's a moist replacement.
he was speaking moistly. He said that we should do a podcast around like checking a deck for rot and like when it's time to replace a deck. And so I was like, oh, okay. But like when it's falling apart is not always just the only time that you would replace your deck. So I
Right.
came up with a list because, God, you know I love lists.
I know you love lists.
7 things, Bryce.
7.
7 times when you should replace your deck.
You know, it's a good time when it's 7.
Yeah, number 1, when Shane's hungry.
That's when you replace your deck.
When Papa's got to eat.
When Papa's got to eat. Wow, it sounds like Wade's back.
Come spend your dough here so Papa can eat. Got to pay a $6 delivery fee today, so I
That's right.
need a little extra on top.
That's right.
No.
I got extra cheese.
Number 1. Yeah. Number 1 is when you're tired of the maintenance. And so I think this one's actually quite common
Yep.
because especially around this time of year, we get people that come in every year, and especially at the home shows. It seems to come out more at the home shows, maybe because they're early before spring or something. But people always come up to us and be like, I hate staining my deck, and I don't want to do it this year. I've been doing it for 4 years. We built a new deck 5 years ago. I'm not doing it this year. I'm done. The framing is fine. I want to take all the wood off and I want to put composite on it. And so that's one time when you might want to build a new deck is when you're sick and tired of the maintenance of an existing wood deck.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're done and you don't want to spend $200 on staining in this year and a day of your time or a few hours of your time or whatever, if you're just tired, sick and tired of it,
Yeah.
then maybe it's time to replace the top. You don't have to replace the whole thing if it's not that old. Your framing might still be fine.
I want to defend oiling your deck, though,
Sure.
because oiling your deck is a lot easier now, like with the products that we have, than staining used to be.
Yeah, and so this is a great point. I I came across Mike Holmes. Do you know Mike Holmes?
Who's that?
Mike Holmes guy? Michael Holmes.
Does he build homes? Is he homely? Like looking?
Do you remember Sid Vicious, WWE?
Yeah. Razor Ramon and Sid Vicious.
Kind of looks like Mike Holmes.
Oh, yeah, he does. He does.
So Mike Holmes posted a picture today, and it was like, he really looked like Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
So, Mike Holmes, of course, everybody knows Mike Holmes, and everybody knows Mike Holmes for like overbuilding everything.
Right.
But anyways, he made a post today, or his staffers did, or something about deck maintenance. an article about it. And I thought, what a great article to repost. I should share this on our page because like very timely for him to post this stuff. And so I breezed through it. What's the past tense of breeze? Is it browsed?
A browse?
So I browsed through it.
There was a definite browse yesterday.
I had a long browse.
I had a huge browse
at this article. And I was not happy with it because his staining advice, like sometimes Mike really misses the mark. His staining advice, or whoever wrote his article, was like, what's the best stain to use in your deck? And his answer was the thickest stain. Thickest stain. He basically said like, the darker and least transparent and the thicker it is, the longer it'll take to wear off.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Okay, Mike. I suppose that is a answer.
I could G-tape my deck too, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Like, what's the best way to repair cracks in pavement? To cover it with 6 layers of Cheese Whiz.
Exactly.
Because the thicker the layer, the longer it'll take to wear off.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
that's what the city does, right? They just pour freaking gravel over it.
I actually think his advice might be ass backwards.
Yeah.
The thicker of a top coat layer, the more likely it is to crack and start chipping and flaking off. Mm-hmm. Like if you want to talk about bad products out there, how about Bear Deck Over, which is some thick shit because it's got some sand grit in it.
Because it's just
it's
shit.
Awful.
Yeah.
And Home Depot knows it's awful. They leave their 1 out of 5-star reviews on their website happily.
Because they don't want people to buy it.
And they're like, yeah, it's junk, but you'll buy it anyway because
it's like a McDonald's cheeseburger. It's only $1.39.
Right? And so it's awful stuff. And like his advice would be like, the more solid the stain. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Would you ever stain your deck again, like with like paint stain?
No.
Do you remember that like orange color? I feel like that was such a popular color for a long time.
Or like a bluish gray. A lot of people did bluish gray.
Yeah.
Like my in-laws at one point had bluish gray on their stuff. And it was just like, it's constantly peeling. I've already talked to probably a dozen people this year, and I'm not even on the sales floor that often.
Yeah.
I'm down there like only when necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already talked to people and they're like, yeah, like it's awful. I did this again last fall and it's already all chipped and peeled off. Yeah, because one, that type of product just doesn't hold up frickin' anywhere, but certainly not in a place with the kind of temperature swings we have.
Yeah.
And so, no, any of that topical stuff is absolute junk anywhere and really, really, really junk here.
Mm-hmm.
So use a penetrating oil.
And penetrating oils are so easy to apply.
Yes.
They just go on.
Yeah.
Done.
And so we carry a couple really good brands, Q-Tech being like, there's good, there's great, and then there's Q-Tech.
Yep.
Q-Tech is crazy stuff, and it applies so easily. And you combine that with like a Deck Boss brush, screw it onto a handle and brush it on. Like,
Done.
honest to God, it makes like staining your deck almost a joy.
Yeah.
Like it's just quick work of something you're really dreading. Now, if you got a bunch of crap you got to take off first, well, that part sucks.
Yes.
Yep.
That part sucks.
But you only got to do it once, and then switch to Q-Tech and not do it ever again.
Or replace your deck boards.
Or replace your deck boards. So if you're tired of the maintenance, like either switch to a product that doesn't require the amount of maintenance that a lot of these products do.
Yep.
Switch to a Q-Tech Extreme that when you put it on, it goes on easy. And then when you have to put more on, you just put more on.
Yeah.
There's no sanding and prepping and getting the old crap off and scraping the flake crap off and blah, 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 blah. You just put more oil on and it soaks in and it doesn't crack or split or flake or anything.
I feel like if you want like a colored deck, get a composite.
Yeah.
Like if you want like some weird red or real bluey gray, don't paint your deck.
Don't paint your deck. That's
what stain mostly is paint.
Yes. And that's
especially according to Mike Holmes.
Great advice. Yeah. Just layer it on thick.
Yeah. You start with some whipped cream, Cheese Whiz, mayo.
Got such awful advice.
Anyways.
Come on, Mike. I also, never mind.
Okay.
It's electrical related, Mike, but Mike got lit up on another post of his from a bunch of electricians. They're like, bro, that is a completely normal thing.
Right.
But anyway. Number 2, old generation product. So if you have a composite deck already, but maybe it's 10, 12, 15 years old, and you've got big issues with staining or fading or mildew or mold, and you're tired of that too. And it's like, I thought I bought composite that was supposed to be kind of maintenance free. And it's like, well, no, if you got first gen composite that doesn't have a cap layer on it that's protective, you're not maintenance free. You will have to battle grease stains. You will have to, like, your product will fade right away. And if you do try to, like, if you have any sort of humidity or moisture, you're going to have issues with mold or mildew or whatever.
What do you do with that stuff? Like, is there any way?
In the trash.
Yeah. It's like,
Get the new stuff.
What do you do?
Well, I mean, you live with it unless you want to replace it. And this is where you might want to replace it. We get people in here that are like, I have composite right now, but it looks awful. Like, the barbecue's been spitting grease on it for 7 years.
Right.
So there's just grease spots, like splatters everywhere. And I had a planter over here where I used to water the planter. It has a big dark ring around it from where the soil would kind of leach out, and it's all staying there. And then I had my Aunt Kathy was over, and she spilled a glass of red wine.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
No, I know. And then she dropped her panties and then put a stain, like there was a stain from the red wine. It was like this and that. And then there's like some seeds from a tree fell down. And so there's little yellow spots from the seeds in the tree. And then, I have this other tree that dripped a little bit of sap on it. And so that sap didn't come out. It just looks atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's the, and I don't like, and it's like, it's dull gray looking now. When we bought it, it was like a nice looking color, and it's all faded to crap, and it looks awful now. It's like, okay, yeah, that's an old generation composite.
Yep.
That very, like, nobody's tried to hide some tried to hide the fact maybe now through like the whole, like, you know, what is it called? Like, what is it called when you're like truth by omission, or like,
oh, you just don't say anything?
Honest, I don't remember. Yeah, if you don't say something, is it like, are you being dishonest if you don't mention it? And it's like, well,
you're lying by omission.
Lying by omission, is that what it is? Something like that. So there's that, certainly, that some of this product still gets sold out there, and people they're not giving the heads up about how the product wears and ages. And so a lot of people want to replace that stuff for good reason. It's like, I want my deck to look nice again.
Right.
I want to have proper color to it. It used to match my house.
Why I bought it.
Yeah, and it's like, it looks awful because there's stuff on it everywhere. Okay, well, maybe it's time to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you're going from composite to composite, but not all composites are equal. And get into a new one and pick your color, because it's going to stay that color. You're not going to find a bunch of fading. You're not going to find any staining.
Yep.
And it's going to look great forever. And so maybe it's just time for a refresh on your deck. You know. So that's another reason. Number 3, Bryce, is the most common one. This is what Scott was referring to in his post, was rot.
Rot.
So the first two are, you know, they're labor and aesthetic related. It's like, my deck's looking crappy, or I don't want to maintain it anymore. It's too much work. I just want, those are, you know, these are optional things. Yep. Rot, not optional.
Right. It's just a bad attitude, just comes out that way. It's just rotten.
If you're, if the deck is being rude, has an attitude about things.
Right.
You ask it for some help.
You tried to ground it, but you couldn't.
Right? You're like, you stay here. And it did, but you know it was like,
did.
you know it was doing it in a snotty way.
Exactly.
Like, fine, I'll go sit in the corner.
Giving you those looks.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So if it's starting to rot, it's time. And not just because it looks crappy, but because it becomes a pretty big safety issue there. Because for any rot you can see, there's probably 10 times more rot that you can't see.
Right.
And unfortunately, if you neglect that, somebody gets hurt. Somebody going to get hurt real bad.
Somebody going to get hurt.
And you ever watch that Russell Peters?
Yeah.
When he talks about his dad?
Yeah.
I can't remember what the skit is, but he's like, my dad would never lay a hand on me, but he would just, because you never wanted to find out. He'd just be like, keep it up. Somebody going to get hurt really bad. And it's like, you don't want to follow that through. You're
exactly.
Like, well, I'm pretty sure that somebody's me, so I'm going to behave now.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember that story I told last year? I found that news story about that person falling through their deck.
Into a well? Yeah. You don't want to find out that way.
Right.
That you have a beautiful well below your deck.
Especially if you don't have a dog.
Better ways.
Lassie.
Or you had a dog, you don't know where it went.
That's right.
And then you're reunited and it feels so good. So rot. Check for rot. This is something you should almost do. If your deck is starting to get older, you don't have to do this if your deck's a couple of years old, but if your deck is aging in place, if it's 10 or 12 or 15 years old, it's time to start poking around and seeing, like, is this thing still in good shape after winter? Because usually coming out of winter in the spring is when a lot of damage happens, because as the snow melts off, your deck takes a lot of moisture. and it'll get into those places and it'll accelerate some rot right then during spring. You get snow runoff, and then spring usually has a little bit more rain than normal, higher precipitation. So those rotted areas can really accelerate their rot at that time. And so it's time to kind of start poking around. So get underneath your deck, look in the most common rot areas. If you have wood posts for your railing that are framed in, that's a common rot area. Water gets in between the framing and the wood post and sits there and doesn't dry, starts to rot. Shake your rail. Is it wiggling? Like, all rail's going to have a bit of play to it, but you shouldn't be able to, like, it shouldn't be wiggling a whole lot. Have a look down at the base of the post where it meets the deck and see, is there stuff kind of like crumbling out of there? Is there dark spots? Is there spots that look like they're kind of staying more wet or moist? Is there mold or growth around it somewhere? Like, is there mushrooms going out of it?
Moss.
Is there moss there?
If you got moss on your deck, I think you've got some problems.
Yeah. Check for some Randy Moss. And if you go underneath the deck, if you can see underneath, might be able to assess it better underneath there. Check your ledger board where it connects to the house. Is it flashed properly to appropriately direct water out from behind? Because if not, there's a good chance that your ledger board is likely starting to rot and the backside of it. And again, you can't see the backside of it.
Right.
So it's hard to see that until it's too late sometimes as well. Check your joist hanger connections. Are the joist hangers still, like, the nails or screws still tight in there? Is there showing any signs of rot around there? Check the top of the joist where the deck boards sit. Poke at it with a screwdriver or even a pen. If that starts to flake away, that's rotten. That's dry rot. It may not be wet. It might be dry, but dry rot's a thing.
So there's dry rot and wet rot.
Sure, and moist rot.
I thought moist rot was wet rot.
Well, is moist the same as wet?
Is water wet?
Is water moist?
Yes.
Okay. Glad we agree on
Do
something.
you think that water's not moist?
Well, I don't know. Water in itself is the wet thing. Can water make itself wet?
Is ice wet?
If water runs into water, does one pool of water make the other pool of water wet?
Yes.
Or was it already wet?
But that's the thing. Is ice wet? Ice is water.
Ice is not wet until it melts.
Okay. Let's get on with this.
So poke these areas. Take a screwdriver out. Start poking around.
Yeah.
Check some shit.
Just poke around.
If you find things flaking off, that's not a good sign.
No.
So, and if that's the case, then it's time to look for a new deck. Like, get shopping now, because you don't have, like, if it rots in the wrong places, somebody gets hurt. The deck collapses, the railing falls over, a board, you step through it, like break an ankle that way.
Yep.
These are not scare tactics. These are real things. Google it.
Yeah.
Google deck collapse. There's plenty of videos out there. They happen once a week. It seems like it's in the news. I just saw one that was posted the other day, and it was like a wedding party or something out on a deck, and it was kind of over the edge of the ocean or something, or a giant lake or whatever. I think it was kind of oceanside. And there's these people on the deck party, and all of a sudden, boop, gone. Deck crashed. And I don't know what was below. Like, they were right above the water. I don't know if they were in the water or on the rocks below or what, but not good.
Whoa.
Pretty big drop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check your deck.
Check
and make sure it's not rotten.
Yeah.
And don't you dare walk into a place to buy new deck boards and say, well, I'm pretty sure my frame is fine. The odds are, if your deck is more than 10, 15 years old, 20 years old, it's not fine. Even if you think it looks fine,
Right.
it might not be fine.
I got my deck from Scott Kelly, though, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, if it's steel, it's probably fine. So, and it might be fine, but that would be the exception to the rule, not the rule. So I've torn decks off that are 20 or 30 years old that are using, very dense Douglas fir joists from 30 years ago, and they're still in great shape. But that's not very common. So check it. Chances are, prep for the fact that you probably will have to replace the joist in the framing. Don't walk in and try to tell somebody, like, I'm pretty sure the joist fine. Listen, either they are or they're on. There's no pretty sure about this.
Right.
You don't put it on and then find out later. Do a proper assessment and make sure.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, you're not the person to assess it.
Right. Get a contractor out.
And the reason I kind of say this with such passion behind it is that we hear this all the time. People come in all the time. Well, we're going to put new deck boards on. Okay. Is there existing frame or, oh yeah, framing's fine. Is it? Yeah.
Are you sure?
It's been covered in plywood and that fake grass covering forever. Oh, see. Yeah, it's for sure not fine then. Like, you've basically had soggy plywood sitting on top of it. You think that's keeping it dry below? No,
Right.
No.
Exactly.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, it's a little bit soft in some areas.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a little bit soft in some areas, it's garbage in all areas.
Right.
Like, it's
Yeah, exactly.
I love that when I hear that. It's a little bit soft in some areas. That means it's rotten.
I'm a little bit soft in some areas.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay for you to be soft.
Exactly,
It's not
but
okay
your
for your deck to be soft.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little spongy in the corner, but we'll just put new boards on
Right,
that.
exactly.
Okay. So check for that. Number 4, family changes.
Changes.
Yeah. Boy, I feel like I was really close to like a 80s sitcom theme song right there. Family
Right?
changes.
Family matters. Exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
Did I do that?
Yeah. So family changes. You might have built your original deck when you were single or just recently married, and maybe now you have 3 or 4 kids and things have changed.
Right.
And you need a bigger table now. You like your little deck before was just out there with a barbecue. Now you need more space to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
You've kind of grown past your bar hopping days, and now you have dinner parties instead, and you have people over. So
That's right.
You want a bigger entertaining space. Maybe you want to turn your backyard into a bit more of a cushy lounging area with a little fire pit or something like that. Like your family dynamic may have changed.
Maybe COVID happens.
Maybe COVID happens, and maybe now you want to enjoy your backyard in different ways than you used to.
Yep.
It's not just a place where you flick your cigarette butts, throw your beer cans, and puke once in a while.
Whoa. That sounds like experience talking.
Yeah. How do you think the spongy part in the deck got there? Oh, it's a little spongy over in the corner where I peed all the time.
Yeah. So was my pee spot.
Listen, I just did it in one spot. I didn't want to be gross and put pee everywhere.
Exactly.
So
Saturation.
family might change. Another thing might change, Bryce, is number 5.
But with your family too, you might want to put on a railing, kids, right? Like
Sure. Yeah, maybe it wasn't as safe as it was before. Maybe
Right.
you now require a gate at the top of the stairs because
Yeah.
you got little ones running around.
maybe you want a ground level deck.
Maybe
instead
you've
of
decided to add a pool. Now you got to put up a gate or a small pool fence or something.
I've always wanted a pool.
Right. Me too.
My wife does not want a pool.
Really?
Yeah, she's
Well,
like,
maybe you and I
"They're
can move in
so
together.
dangerous.
You
I'm
and I will
like,
move in
yeah.
together, and then our wives can live together. They can be poolless.
Yeah, they could be poolless people.
Enjoy your house.
Enjoy your non-pool life.
Bryce and I'll be swimming,
We'll just live in the pool.
right? We'll be out here if you ever need us.
Right, exactly.
I would do that.
Would you?
Live in the pool?
Like, would you build a raft?
Be
Would
awfully,
you just live in the water?
be awfully tricky here in February, but number 5, income changes. So you may have been at a point in your life a couple of years ago where you did a deck and you kind of did it bare minimum because you were, you didn't have a good job or something or whatever, or you were single income.
Yep.
Now you're a dink. Hey,
Double income.
double income, no kids.
Double
now you're a
income, no
dink and you can
kids.
afford a bigger deck
Yep.
for your dink.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Gotta put it somewhere.
you
Might
got
as
to
well
put it
put it
somewhere.
outside.
But I mean, maybe at one point you had an idea of what you wanted your deck to look like, but budget and finances, because what you made at that time in your life wasn't there. So you built one size of deck, and now you've come into a significant amount of money because you sell syringes or
You bought Dogecoin at the right
stickers,
time,
or you bought a bunch of Dogecoin,
right?
and so now you've come in some money. So now you're like, oh, I'm going to pimp my yard.
Yeah. Put a
So your income changes, your disposable income changes, and that might mean you want to spruce up the backyard a little bit. I can tell you for sure that if I had a lot more money than I have right now, I'd pimp out my backyard.
yeah,
Are you kidding me?
yeah.
Like I built like a modest sized deck, but a cool shape, whatever, with some real good intentions. And it's been 4 or 5 years and I still don't have furniture on it. I'm waiting to try to find like
You're
the
furnitureless?
deal on the furniture. Yeah, I'm furnitureless. So I'm not even using the deck. I can tell you for certain that if money was no object, if I had a bit more disposable income, I would just go buy some bloody furniture.
If you would have bought furniture 4 years ago instead of waiting to buy furniture at the right price,
Right. Yeah. I'd be replacing
you'd
it by
have
now.
furniture.
I would have furniture. Yeah, exactly. So, but if I came into money, I would have a gas fire pit out there now. I'd be putting a bunch of lights in my deck now. I'd be putting some sweet ass furniture in my deck now.
Yeah.
I'd be paying somebody to maintain my grass, not to cut it necessarily, but to come and like make it look beautiful. You know,
Pool.
I would do some stuff back there. I'd have a hot tub back there. Man, I'm telling you.
Sauna.
So if my income changes, if I can get just like at least 3 more people to buy decks for me this year,
That's right.
I'll have all those things.
That's all it'll take?
That's all it'll take.
Wow.
Just 3 more decks.
That's pretty easy.
So income changes. Number 6, maybe you bought a new house
Oh.
and you don't like what's there.
Oh.
And the deck that's there you might not like it for a variety of reasons. It
Right.
could be too small. It could be too old. It could be not the right color. It could be untaken care of. It could be too high. It could be too low. It doesn't have the right privacy.
You just don't like
You
it.
just don't like it. Maybe your dog doesn't manage the stairs very well. Maybe your kid, like you just don't like something about it. You've bought a new house. When people buy new houses, they tend to want to tweak things and make them their own a little bit.
Yep.
And the backyard space certainly a lot of times is that. People show up here like, we just bought a new house. It's got this little deck on it, but it's not what we think a deck should look like. So we're ready to go.
Right.
And so that's number 6. Number 7 is selling your house.
Do you think that it increases the value of your house?
No, I don't think it increases the value, but I think it can help to not have a decrease in. Is there a difference?
Yes.
It can not have a decrease in your house.
Right.
So a lot of the statistics I've read say that with a composite deck, you will maintain 80 to 100% of the cost of doing the composite deck
Okay.
for the life of the deck when you go to sell your house. So if that deck costs you $10,000 to do, when you go to sell your house, it's added $8,000 to $10,000 worth of value to the house. Whereas if you build a wood deck, you get like a year out of it. And as soon as that deck starts to look like it's a maintenance project, it actually hurts the value of your home.
Right.
Because people come in, they look at it and be like, well, that needs taken care of.
Right.
That's a job, and I don't want that. And so it can actually deter people from wanting to buy your house. If there's a project in the backyard that means they have to they're buying into a job.
Yeah.
Right? Same reason why people don't want to show up at a house and the walls are all chipped and need painted. And it's like, it's a fairly simple thing, but it's like, but you don't want a makeover.
No.
You want move-in ready.
Right.
It's the same reason when you're selling your car, you clean your car first. Does cleaning the car do anything actually to its value? No. But it makes it more attractive to purchase.
Yep.
And by not doing it, you might not get what it's worth.
That's right.
Is a thing. So if you're selling your house, now this is a bit debatable because this is probably if the deck is rotting, this is where you might want to put something on that's not rotting,
right?
Because you're going to lose value on your home when you're trying to sell it. So you might want to put something on there. You're probably not going to go up there and build the Taj Mahal.
No.
You're going to put a functional deck on the house that looks good, is new, and does maybe add a little bit of value back into the house, and certainly doesn't cost you value.
Yeah.
You might not. Maybe 10 people look at your house and 6 of them would have walked away because the deck in the backyard is a mess.
I'm not putting lights on it. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Maybe you're not doing the fine finishings of it. Yeah. But by replacing that with a newer deck, all of a sudden 10 of 10 people are still interested.
Right.
And so you get a better value for your house.
Yeah.
So if you're selling, that can happen. And people do come in and do that sometimes. We're selling our house, the backyard we just need to fix some things up, and the deck's in rough shape, so we're going to put a new deck back there before we list it. We're going to paint the walls. We're going to spruce it up a little bit.
That's a good reason.
So there's 7 reasons, Bryce. Was there any that you thought of that I didn't list?
I had one earlier and now I forgot it. So
there has been a remarkably low number of comments in the podcast IG today.
Haney Construction said too small and too old. Are we revising shrinkage again?
Revisiting. Yeah, I don't see why not. We can get after that topic again, can't we?
Shrinkage?
I don't remember, but it sounds like something we would talk about.
We talk about it all the time.
Shrinkage.
Is your deck too small?
Yeah, usually every morning.
Hey, yo.
So that's it. That's where you might want a new deck. Or if you, like me, number 8, I guess, is if you don't have one, but that's not a new deck then. That's just a new deck to you.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have a patio.
Why
Those
do you want
suck.
Yeah. Patios. Who buys a patio nowadays?
Isn't the point of the deck because you don't want to sit on the frickin' ground?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Allow me to spend a whole bunch of money to make the ground harder and more uncomfortable to sit on.
Exactly.
And put a patio in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now when I drop my things, they'll break. Why? You know what would make this backyard more comfy? More concrete.
Yes.
Get real.
I figured it out. You're getting older.
For a new deck.
Yeah. You're getting older.
Sure. Number 8. I had that written down there. Just my pen died.
Age.
Age. You're aging in place. Sure. This is a good one because we do have people that come in that are elderly. They're looking to replace their deck and they want to, at least, maybe this isn't the reason they're wanting to replace their deck, but they're certainly more aware of some of the benefits or features of different products at that time in their life because they're like, our deck we have right now is very slippery, especially when it rains out. And it's like, it's not good for us to be walking on. We're 85. And so they want to make sure to get something attraction. So yeah, maybe they might have a deck that is in fine shape. And for a 25-year-old, it would be good enough.
Yep.
But at that age, their needs have changed. The stairs are too steep potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody's now in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Now they need a ramp
right?
or a lift or something. And so you need, like, that's a great one, Bryce.
Yeah.
Good for you.
See, I had that. I had that in the bank.
That's fantastic. And even that's kind of almost a number 9, like age or special needs, because you may have had something change in your life too for not the better, right?
Right.
Car accident, health issues, something that might put you into some sort of immobile state or limited mobility state. And all of a sudden now the stairs in the back of your deck provide a gigantic challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been involved in those Build Love charity projects for people who have some sort of challenges in their life. And in both cases, one had the wheelchair lift and one had the ramps for the girl who was in a walker / wheelchair.
Yeah.
And so those people didn't have those things before, but they now needed new accessibility options within their home and their outdoors.
Yeah.
And so certainly that's a reason to potentially change that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even pets sometimes. This might sound silly, but some people's pets age and we've had people come and be like, I need to build a little ramp for my dog. He doesn't handle the stairs very well anymore. So I need to knock out this section railing and put a ramp in for my dog. Sure.
There we go.
There you go. Finkelberry, Evans made it in here. May 20th, Surströmming. I'm a-coming.
Wow. Thanks.
May 20th. Is that the day I'm sick?
That's the day you get back from Saskatoon.
Is it? Is that actually?
I think so, actually. Aren't you going up that weekend, maybe?
Like I say, I go, but I am seriously intrigued by what this stuff smells and tastes like.
Oh, no, it's before you go.
It's got to be bloody awful. I go on the 23rd and 24th. So if anybody, when does this get posted? 22nd, right? This episode will be on the 22nd.
On the 22nd.
So if you hear this on the 22nd and you're in Saskatoon,
come talk
swing
to
on by
Shay.
the store. We'll be there. The world famous podcast host of the Ultimate Dick Podcast. Okay, that's it for us today. Bryce, you got anything else to share with the people?
No.
Good. Me neither.
Peace.
Have a delicious Thursday, everybody. Have a great weekend as well. Take her easy. Love you all.
Hey,
Chestnuts.
Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.